Thanks to the internet, we finally have a window into the world of the 1%. They live luxurious lifestyles we could only dream about. What is even more shocking are lives of the children of mega-rich people. And one country that has their fair share of rich kids is Russia. And they aren't afraid to flaunt their abundant lifestyles all over Instagram for the world to view. Just wait until you see how much they are willing to shell out for their wardrobes, cars, and private jets. Before we jump into it, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button. Now, let's take a look inside the lives of the rich kids of Russia. If you are someone who keeps up with the news, then you may have seen Russia being mentioned a lot lately. Whether it's because of their political differences with the US or their economic crisis, Russia seems to be on the tip of everyone's tongue. But there is a certain group of people who just don't have a care in the world. The rich kids of Russia may be from a country in turmoil, but that doesn't mean they have to suffer. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We are going to take a look inside the lives of these rich kids. We are going to show you what exactly they are spending all their money on, as well as how lavish their lifestyles are. Private jets. For starters, you can't be a rich kid of Russia without your own private jet. These kids are constantly posting pictures to Instagram while aboard their posh planes. Not only that, but they also like to invite along VIPs like their stuffed animals and pets. Because nothing says rich kid more than hugging a stuffed teddy bear on your own personal jet. We have never wanted to switch places with a stuffed animal more. Could you imagine being able to have the world at your fingertips? Being able to travel on a private jet allows you the freedom of dining in Paris for breakfast and a completely different country for dinner. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Well, there is one girl who claims to be a rich kid of Russia who goes to extreme lengths just to get a haircut. Julia Stakeva. This is Julia Stakeva, who claims to be the daughter of a Russian billionaire. You can find her posting photos on her personal Instagram showing off her abundant lifestyle. Julia lives in London, England, but apparently the hairstylists aren't up to par for this picky rich girl. She famously made headlines in the UK when she posted about flying off to Russia for a simple haircut. Considering women get haircuts around 4 times a year, we can only guess jetting off to Russia that often can get pretty expensive for her. But that doesn't matter. She has the cash to fund her extreme grooming habits. Oh, and if you are wondering how she makes her money, she will tell you that it's not from having a job. During an interview with a UK morning show, Julia claimed to be too beautiful to work. Well, at least she is humble. If you want to see more of her glamorous life, stay tuned because we aren't done with this mega-rich beauty. Rasim Mamishev. If you thought their private jets were crazy, just wait until you see where these rich kids actually vacation. When the world is only a flight away, you can literally go wherever you'd like. And these kids spare no expense in the name of having fun and making memories that are Instagram worthy. If you are a fan of extreme sports and luxury cars and yachts, you have to check out Rasim Mamishev's Instagram. He is regularly posting photos all over the world, and we have to say it's pretty impressive. Whether he's doing backflips off a yacht in Cyprus or cruising on snowmobiles in his home country, Rasim proves that having money can lead to an entertaining life. The guy seems to be having a good time, and we can't help but think that has something to do with his fat pockets. How does he make all that money at such a young age? Well, according to his Instagram, he's an entrepreneur. But we don't think he has any time to work with all the adventures he goes on. And Rasim isn't the only rich kid who likes to travel either. Polina Moiseva. Meet Polina Moiseva, another kid from Russia who had a pretty blessed life. Her Instagram is full of photos of herself in beautiful places all over the world. Here she is horseback riding through the waters of Sardinia. You know, just a typical Saturday. Here she is enjoying a lovely sunset with friends in St. Tropez. Seriously, is there anywhere these rich kids can't go? It must be nice to have all that free time to travel. We can't help but be a little jealous. But when it comes to spending money, travel isn't the only thing these mega rich kids are dropping serious cash on. They love designer clothing, and they spend millions of dollars to keep themselves decked out in the latest designer fashions. Just wait until you see how much one rich kid spent on their insane wardrobe. Shopping trips. It's not unlike the rich kids of Russia to post photos from their lavish shopping trips. Seriously, look at how many bags this guy has. Does anyone really need that many clothes? Well, if you ask Julia Stakeva, the answer would be yes. This girl not only jets away to get haircuts, but she also goes on expensive shopping sprees in Paris when she feels like it. Once again, the pampered daughter of a Russian billionaire makes it into our video because of her extreme spending habits. When she graduated university, Julia reported that she was planning on flying to Paris for the sole purpose purpose of finding a graduation outfit. Who does that? A rich kid of Russia, that's who. And how much does she spend on her designer wardrobe? Well, according to Julia, she has dropped over $2 million to keep herself looking fly. That is more money than most people make in their entire lifetime. Imagine what you can do with $2 million. She even claims to have over 100 designer purses. Considering those usually go for anywhere between $500 to $10,000, we are sure they set her back a pretty penny. Watches. When they aren't spending their cash on clothing and travel, the rich kids of Russia have another obsession: watches. We aren't sure what it is about timepieces, but they pop up a lot on their Instagram pages. One guy who can't stop posting about his lavish watches is Yan Alexandrovich. We aren't sure how many Rolexes one person needs. Considering the least expensive Rolex will still set you back over $5,000, we can only imagine how much money he has spent on all these watches. It seems like his friends have caught the Rolex obsession bug as well. Here is a photo of Yan and his friends showing off their pricey timepieces. What is even more impressive is the fact that Yan barely looks old enough to drive, so we are pretty sure his parents are funding his luxury lifestyle. If our parents did the same for us, we are pretty sure we would definitely get our hands on some amazing watches too. But we would be more inclined to drop our cash on some exotic pets, like this next group of rich kids did. Pets. When it comes to having a household pet, cats and dogs just don't cut it for the rich kids of Russia. No, they would much rather splurge their money on more exotic animals. And for some reason, there seems to be a running theme of these kids getting lions and tigers as their little play pals. Because when you're rich, apparently the rules don't apply to you. It's well known that these types of animals aren't the best pets. They are cute when they are babies, but as they get older, they tend to be more aggressive. But that doesn't stop these kids from turning lions and tigers into photo ops for Instagram. Just look at how adorable this baby lion is in front of one of the most expensive cars in the world. Sometimes their pets even get behind the wheel for a nice afternoon drive. We wonder if they have their own version of a puppy latte from Starbucks. Would you freak out if you saw someone driving around with a lion cub in their lap? We are pretty sure we would. But there is one rich kid pet that is making us scratch our heads. Take a look for yourself. That's right, this rich kid is stepping out of a car with his pet raccoon on a leash. We think that's enough interneting for the day. Cars. Okay, so we know we said we were done with the internet, but we can't talk about the rich kids of Russia without mentioning cars. When it comes to all things fast and expensive, these kids really love their cars to be the best in the world. Not only that, but they like to have as many as possible. We can understand having just one luxury car, but having a whole fleet seems pretty ridiculous. And should we mention pricey? But dropping major cash on a brand new vehicle is nothing when you have no budget. Just take a look at some of the cars these kids are splurging on. Here is a picture of a rich kid of Russia casually playing with his dog while sitting in a BMW i8. For those of you who don't know, that car cost around $140,000. You can buy a pretty nice house with that sort of money. No big deal, right? Not to the rich kids of Russia, at least. Remember when we said they like to buy their luxury cars in bulk? Just take a look at this picture to see what we mean. Pretty decadent, don't you think? We aren't sure who needs this many cars, especially ones that are so expensive. But if we have learned anything about these rich Russian kids, it's that their lives don't revolve around being practical. Ridiculous stuff. Speaking of unpractical things, we couldn't help but notice that some of the rich kids of Russia spend their money on absolutely ridiculous things, like this gilded gold burger. Nothing says I have money to burn like eating a burger made of gold, and their love for everything gold doesn't stop with their food. These rich kids are willing to deck out bigger items like their cars in gold just to prove how much money they have. Seriously, does anyone else think this is a bit much? The car is already expensive enough on its own, and what happens if it gets scratched? This just goes to show that there is no limit to the ridiculousness of these kids' purchases. They don't even care if what they're buying is only good for one night, and their thirst for champagne proves that. Whether it's at dinner or a lovely afternoon with their pet, the rich kids of Russia are always ready for a glass of bubbly. But they don't stop at just glasses. They will buy bottles and bottles of expensive champagne. Considering many of them don't look like they are even of legal age to drink, we don't know how they are getting their hands on the stuff. Once again, it seems like the rules of the real world just don't apply to rich kids. Instagrammer. Now that we are coming to the end of this video, we couldn't finish it without exposing some of these rich kids. Apparently, having a big Instagram following is a big deal in Russia. So much so that people are willing to shell out the big bucks to get it. They are even willing to pretend to be rich just to get a few more likes and follows on the social media app. How do they do it? Well, many of them actually rent those luxury items you see on their feed by the hour. They will rent jets, cars, and helicopters for photo shoots, all for the sole purpose of posting an epic shot on Instagram Instagram. Sure, they will have cool photos, but is it really worth the cost? One of these photos will set you back a solid $244 for 2 hours. Considering that is way less expensive than actually chartering a private jet, we can only imagine how many fake rich kids are out there. So while it may seem like someone has the best life in the world, like many of the people we mentioned today, thanks to companies like this, we'll never be sure how much of their lives are legit or how much they are actually doing for the gram. And that brings us to the end of our video. We hope you enjoyed it. So, what surprised you the most about the rich kids of Russia? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up.